Stephen Correño, Carolina Sports, here with Jose Ramirez. Good to see you, brother.
Good to see you, man.
I feel like the weight looks good on you. I feel like it's been a while because I remember thinking like a year ago, like your frame is getting too big for 140. What's it like? Kind of maybe just obviously you haven't made weight, but you know what I mean. Just knowing that you don't have to drain yourself.
I'm excited about that. Everybody that knows me well knows that I really don't complain. I don't look for excuses. I try to be a professional and always make weight. When the contracts got signed, I make sure I make the weight. I never pull out from a fight. I never say I'm sick. But it came to a point where I think I was hurting myself. I was hurting myself doing that, being too much of a nice guy. Now I think, this opportunity came and I said, hey, as long as it's at 147, and they said, yep, they came back at 144. For now they're talking about making it at 147 again. So, I'm excited about that. That's, I know what I have to go through to make the 140, and I know what weight I could get there, and then the rest of it becomes very difficult, and it's always the last 5 pounds that just makes it very difficult for me to lose. So I'm excited to show that. I think making 140 takes all my legs away. And even if people see me as a power puncher without legs, you don't punch so hard. And I can't cut the ring as fast or be as agile, as rejuvenated. The body's not young no more. I'm 32 years old. So in the sport of boxing, 32 years old, you got to start making those better decisions. And I'm excited about that.
So it is 147 then, or is it like a 44, 45, something like that?
Yeah, exactly. 140, I think it's 144, 145, worst case scenario, but it might be a 147.
Oh, so you might.
Yeah, because they when I first heard, I said, as long as it's 147, they came back at 144, but now they reached out to say if they're okay on making the fight at 147. So we have to discuss that as a team. But it could be either one. For me, I know those 4 pounds or 7 pounds will be magnificent.
Right. What does that mean to you that they started at one weight and now they're kind of pushing? Does that tell you something from their side?
Yeah, well, it tells me that they're trying to put extra mass on their body, but also when it comes to time to lose the weight, they don't want to have the difficult time of losing the weight. So they want to have both. Not struggle to make the weight, but also have a little bit of mass. And the reason why they don't want to struggle too much because obviously their insurance will be having healthy legs to move around a lot. You know what I mean? So that's what I think. But who cares? I'm ready to do my part.
Right, for sure. Obviously Devin Haney's come off of, I guess you call it a loss, right? It's not on the record officially, but, I know you said you want the best Devin Haney, but knowing that he's coming off of a difficult fight like that, does that play a factor in like game planning, maybe like put it on him a little sooner or, kind of remind him of what it's like to get like punched in the mouth so that, because last time it didn't go so well for him.
That is right. Probably that's what I'll do. Go out there and remind him real fast.
Right.
That there's punches coming at him. And those punches make damage. So, or we'll see. But I'm always a fighter that comes strong. And hopefully with this extra pounds, my legs stay fresh and I could, be able to do that.
But what'd you think about today, man? Just all the antics of today. Devin saying T was wearing makeup. He slapped Arnold Barboza. Barboza's right there next to you. Kind of. What was your take about that? Yeah,
they're all cool. Ryan is cool. Arnold and Barboza, they're cool with their parents. His brother was in the back too. They're all good people, man. They're all respectful people to me. It was unfortunate to see that happen, but it's part of the show. Next time I know Arnold Barboza will definitely want to get his. Right. So they have to be careful with those two. But it's part of boxing. It's part of being, I guess, an entertainer. I'm terrible at doing that, but I signed up to be a good fighter. That's why I'm here.
I want to bring to light just what you're doing for your community, man. I was looking at your Instagram. You did, obviously it was a while back, but, you had the turkey giveaway for your community. Yeah. Obviously, you're kind of representing for water in, the Central Valley. Just, talk a little about that and just, I want to give you flowers, brother. You're doing a lot for your people out there.
No, I appreciate it, man. I think first and foremost, Jesus Christ touches me. He touches my heart. He's the one that puts his hands in my pockets and then he makes sure that I don't forget, where I come from and also helping my neighbors, and those people are my neighbors, regardless if they live 50 miles away, 30 miles away, they're my neighbors, and that's that's a part of being a good Christian man. You know, is to respect and love your neighbors. You know, not just those that love you back. So you know, I do my best to share my glory. You know, when I get blessed, you know, I like to bless other people as well. So hopefully May 2nd, when I get blessed, I'll come and bring that glory back to the Central Valley, brother.
For sure. Highly favored. Jose, appreciate your time, brother. Best of luck, man. Thank you.